code. So first of all, this is my satellite image, and I need to change this one lah to the EPSG 4326. EPSG 4326 is suitable for the kita punya data ni ya. Okay, I already load it, and then it's require internet connection lah. Otherwise, it's not loaded successfully. Okay, done already. So next step adalah kita nak masukkan kita punya CSV. Before this, we learn already about creating a layer using new shapefile layer. But now we are going to use the layer also, same, add layer, add delimited text layer. So this one is quite useful, especially for all of you that usually get the data from the CSV file lah. Either from the e-notice, whatsoever lah, dia akan ada kat sini. And then the first step, you browse the data. So I'm going to browse the data inside my local drive, which is this one, case 2019. And then followed by open. You open already? Okay, next is the configuration setting. So point coordinate here must be named as latitude, followed by another one is longitude. That's all. Okay, maintain the geometry CRS as WGS84 for 326, followed by all these things, ID, Jantina, category. So before this, I have some difficulty with regard to the tarik output. So therefore, I'm going to maintain it at the moment, because after this, I'm going to change the text string ni into the date lah. Itu nanti kita boleh gunakan raster calculator. We can manipulate it later on. Now this one, I'm going to change into the integer, as your friends asked before. What is the difference is the sizes. And kat sini string ni kita biar je, because in the end of the day, it will not be appear. It's just noted as the location basis. Excuse me. Okay, Z is actually the elevation. Z elevation. M field is another lah. So you can use the point coordinate reference. So if the coordinate is not visible, you can click this one, geometry definition, and then followed by the add function over there. After you click the add, then all the cases are going to be populated lah inside our map. You can just go to this zoom to layer icon. It will zoom in into our map lah. So it will load a little bit of time, depends on the internet connectivity, because the layer at the back is the satellite image. So preferably, if you have some internet issue, you can just remove the satellite image lah at the moment. Okay, let me just remove it first. Yes. Oh, let long dia terbalik okay. I do believe that one also is one of the issue. So therefore, I'm going to redo it back. Thank you for your highlight. Because otherwise, it's not being fitted correctly. Betul tak? Dia masuk salah. That's why saya tak dapat seperti mana yang awak dapat lah. Okay, thank you for the highlight. So I may do it again. Layer, add layer, add delimited text layer. So navigate through your data. Okay, followed by the X and Y. Just now, your friend also indicate that this one is not correct, which is I truly appreciate that advice. Okay, just follow this one, and then followed by the add, and then we are able to populate the data. So the data are going to be appear here lah. Then this one is correct lah. Previously it's not correct. So that is the concept. Kalau tuan-tuan ada difficulty with regard to the populating the cases, so perhaps there is something wrong with your latitude and longitude. So the data is huge, right? So the next step is actually to save this one. So how to save the file? You can just go to the export over here, save features, and then followed by the X-ray shapefile, and then give the name of your file. Before this, I ask you to name it as case. I already named it before. If I save it like this, it will overlap, which is never mind lah. I'm just going to click OK. Alright, so now it is already being saved. Under the table here, we got also the case. Case.shp is there. So this is my case, and then this is the field lah, associated with my case. Alright, so now I can remove the previous cases, because this one is also known as temporary shapefile. This one is known as temporary shapefile. Faham tak maksudnya? Dia adalah shapefile that yet to be saved in the system. Therefore, you can remove this one because we already saved everything inside the case layer. Okay, done. So now we want to explore the case or whatever the special data. This one is actually the individual tau. Individual, faham tak? Individu setiap seorang. If you zoom in, you can find out that each of the individu is already being registered lah as cases with regard to their places. Dan kalau anda perhatikan, ada certain loopholes and also some areas are not being populated with the people. That is true because this is the reserve area. Kalau ada tu mana pelik lah. Maknanya yang kita sample tu haiwan lah. Korang. Okay, so this is one of the way to see in the aerial view whether the data is being populated correctly or not correctly. Okay, boleh Cik Bat dapat? Tak keluar Dia keluar macam mana? This one is called point data. Kita ada 3 kan? Point data, polygon, multi-line. Ataupun multi-line also is known as polygon lah. Line, point, polygon. So, usually when you want to analyze the data, we are going to analyze the point data and consider it inside the shapefile, which is we are going to do that later on lah. Yang itu lebih advanced sikit, which is kita akan buat lain kali. Kita buat kartografi yang simple-simple dulu. So, first of all, when you have all this file, you can right-click on each of the layer followed by the open attributes table. Okay, pergi dekat case ni, for example, the case layer, followed by the open attribute tables. Okay, after you click that one, a new table are going to be appear like this. It is same like your SPSS or any statistical package, correct or not? So it's being populated like this lah, where you have the ID, jantina, kategori, tarikh onset, rumah kedai, umur, and so on and so forth. So this is the idea why sometimes I do believe that majority of you as a PPKP need to understand that in the future, please do consider also to collect this kind of data inside the QField. Yang macam saya cerita sebelum rehat tadi kan, QField. Sebab QField tu boleh jadi anda punya portable devices to collect the data. And then it automatically can sync into the clouds and also being adjusted according to your QGIS format. Terutama bagi penyakit-penyakit yang boleh ada potensi penyebaran lah melalui binatang dan lain-lain yang menyebabkan berterbangan lah benda tu kan, macam penyakit-penyakit yang dibawa oleh burung, avian, dia boleh terbang. Sebab itu kalau dekat negara-negara tertentu, dia orang memang ada buat persampalan burung, betul kan? Avian surveillance. Macam Malaysia, tak silap saya, kita buat juga bawa veterina kan? Betul? Kita akan sampel numbers of binatang lah kan? Yang mana dibela di ni. Ada juga yang buat style surveillance, dipanggil apa? Dummy surveillance, tahu kan? Ada dummy surveillance. Dia macam dia buat tipu-tipu punya, tahu? Tak tahu sometimes one of the way to advise and help you to understand much more better in the field of epidemiology, you need to have some created cases. Faham tak? Saja matikan binatang, buat dia sebagai exercise. And then the public health official will come and then do something, but actually the JKN no lah. This one is a simulasi. Yeah. Yang ini tak pernah dibuat ke? Biasa dibuat. Pernah pergi? Ada buat kan? Tiba-tiba mati binatang, ada case kan? Tapi sebenarnya case tu semua dummy. They just want to make a atmosphere that you need to ready. What kind of tools and so on. Okay. Habis kat situ, tuan-tuan boleh pergi kepada open attribute tables just now. Okay. Inside the open attribute tables, I just want to share with you, if you click or if you select any features that you like, automatically the QGIS also are going to select it. You mungkin nampak, mungkin tak nampak lah. Okay, dia sama macam geoda lah sebelum ni kan. Kalau kita select, dia akan ada color. Same also goes to this lah. If you select this one using this button, we call it as the select features. When you select this one, for example, it become little bit different color, and then you can sort it ascendingly. Contoh anda nak tengok kawasan, anda nak tahu ini siapa punya mukim, ini bawah YB mana, something like that. You can do that by just visually select it through. Okay, saya ulang balik cara dia. Tuan-tuan dan puan boleh pergi kepada cases followed by the open attributes tables, and then you can adjust the selection. Just now the selection is this one. You can adjust the selection is this. This one is called selected features. You can select based on the features. You can select based on the polygon, by freehand or radius. Radius ni berdasarkan bulatan lah, radius. So usually kita guna select features ni untuk pre-identify what is actually the cases populated here. For example lah, saya adalah IK yang jaga beberapa PKD di JKN di kawasan ini. Therefore, I can select it through and I can populate it. Ni dah boleh nampak lah. So, I can rearrange using the button here. You can just go to the right click and then you can pergi kepada zoom to features, pan to features, flash features and so on. Kalau dekat dalam Geoda sebelum ni, you can also do invert selection. This one also can. Kat atas ni kita ada bantuan namanya invert selection. You can invert feature selection. Means that kita select yang atas tapi kita nak tahu siapa yang kat bawah tu. Faham tak? This one is very crucial, especially if you detect the disease is actually being spread quite rapidly from north to the south, south to the north, east, west, something like that lah. So by using the filter or advanced statistical model, we can actually predict what will happen in these cases after quite some times. After you dah select everything, you can go to this button. We call it as deselect features. Okay, setakat ni jelas? Select, deselect, whatsoever lah kan? Okay, itu asas. Yes, you can filter it. Tapi cuma saya nak bagi tahu, cara nak memfilter data ni lebih mudah. It is much more easier for you to filter all of the data using the calculator over here. We have what we call it as a select features using expression. Contoh, you want to say something like male is equal, bulan Januari lelaki. So kita boleh buat that equation lah that are going to be selected based on that expression. Faham Contoh, kita ada contoh kat sini kan, kita ada rumah, kedai dan juga umur kan. Kita nak tahu budak yang umur 14 ke bawah, contoh, budak yang umur 18 ke bawah, yang rumahnya dekat dengan 100 meter. So we can filter it through using the expression. This one is quite advanced. Saya tak tunjuk yang ini, saya akan tunjuk basic filter. Yang ini you kena tahu how to use the regular expression based on the syntax. Dia kena tulis syntax sikit lah. Same also goes to the another part here. Kalau you pergi dekat plugin, yang ini pun kalau sempat saya ajar lah. Dipanggil sebagai Python console. You can click over there, Python console. So if your computer is not yet being registered ataupun installed with the Python, I may advise you to install the Python lah. Any Python will do. So this one are going to be useful if you want to perform the data analysis in a automatic manner. Faham tak? Maknanya kalau saya tekan butang play ni, run command, it will run everything in a split second. Dia akan generate lah. Contohlah saya nak ambil data, filterkan by tahun, masukkan benda itu, keluarkan map. Dia akan keluar automatically. Let's say you want to do it for the monthly. You ada data apa pun, you masuk, you run the syntax, bap, sekali jalan, khalas. Apa dia? Khalas Yang ini kita boleh buat pakai syntax. Yang ini advance sikit lah. Yang ini I may share with you later on lah. Kita buat yang basic-basic dulu. Yang pakai apa kata orang ni? Yang tak pakai syntax dulu lah. Yang tak pakai syntax dulu. Kalau agak-agak dah advance lagi, kita boleh automatic sampai kita on komputer je. Kita on di komputer, dia run terus semua. Pun boleh. Faham tak? Kita automatically run everything on the clouds also can. Every week, you datang ke mesyuarat Epic hanya untuk buka ni, tekan butang on LCD. Pun boleh sebenarnya. Until that extent lah. Whatever it is, jangan risau because you punya zaman ni is quite good because ChatGPT are going to be very helpful to you lah. Okay, so let us go into the detail of this case by just clicking it and then go for the properties. Okay, inside the properties, we have numbers of information, especially on the symbology. Symbology, we already discussed it before. Betul kan? Kita dah bincang kan symbology ni sebelum ni. And then antara perkara yang penting kat bawah ni, kalau anda tengok, saya ada QFill. Anda mungkin tak ada QFill, betul tak? Ini sebenarnya adalah plugin also lah. So when you have a QFill inside your phone, you can also install a QFill inside your laptop. And then it can be integrated for online data collection. The same like online AppSheet lah. So for your batch ni, I think you use the AppSheet first lah Use the AppSheet first sampai dah 10 batch, 20 batch semua dah mahir. Then kita boleh go to the QFill. Saya dah symbology. Tapi symbology ni, for your information, I do believe that this one is level diploma lah. Contoh, you can go to the symbology over here, you can create the heat map. So the heat map are going to help you to identify the most intensified area. So for example, let us do that. Okay, we can click this heat map and then we can create a color RAM and we change the color RAM according to the certain spectrum lah. Contohnya saya gunakan yang ni, spectral. And then I can change this one by go into the edit color RAM where the first color must always be transparent. Otherwise it become pelik lah. It become pelik sebab dia akan merahkan semua. Faham tak? Sebab kat semua kan tak ada kena-mengena kan dengan kawasan ni. Therefore we are going to focus on this only. And then followed by the OK button. And then this one you boleh buat radius on the 10mm. Okay, ni saya tunjuk contohnya. I can click apply. And by doing that, I can create some sort of heat map like this. So I know that already this is one of the hot area. Okay. I may make a repetition. Okay. First one, go to the case, properties. dekat symbology, under the symbology over here, we can change the single symbol. This one is the default. Default means that asalnya kan single symbol. We can change this one as the heat map. You can go to the heat map, you can change the color ramp. Pardon? Back balik. Back balik is actually you can just go to the case, go balik to the case, go to the symbology, go to your single symbol, and then go to the apply lah. It will revert back. Atas sekali tu, dekat heat map tu, you change. Tu atas sekali tu, menu. Go to the single symbol balik. Okay, you can apply. Apply, bawah sekali, apply. Okay, it become normal back. Ni contoh lah. Kadang-kadang kita tersilap tekan ke apa kan, jadi dia jadi pelik kan. Okay, tak apa, yang tu saya ulang balik. So contoh, saya tekan balik semula. Saya pergi kat heat map. Dekat color ramp ni, saya klik dekat menu. Dalam QGIS ni, dia ada menu tau. Kalau anda perasan, dia ada apa nama, dia panggil selection. You can click those selection. And then you can pilih lah mana selection yang nak. Contohlah, saya ambil turbo. So we know already, anyone yang tak ada case ni akan jadi biru. Which is apa Which is include yang dekat Sabah Sarawak pun biru tau. Nanti semua biru. Jadi, to avoid this one to happen, therefore you need to tell the computer that anything that tak ada color, tak ada kena-mengena dengan benda ni is become transparent. That is the idea lah. So you can go to the turbo over here and then go to the edit color ramp. Edit color ramp is very useful. And then you are going to change the color over here into the transparent color. Ini simbologi Simbologi ni ataupun kartografi ni sangat berguna lah, terutama kepada tuan-tuan dan puan yang nak buat visualization. Okay, after that you can click OK and apply. And then the most intensified area are going to become red. Something like that lah. So this one is quite intensified as compared to the other areas. Okay, colourful kan? Alright, so now how you want to identify the hotspot and so on. Ini bukan hotspot analysis lah. Sebab you kena ingat data ni adalah accumulative data from a period of years. Maknanya tahun-tahun lah. Macam awak punya kan, tiba-tiba gelap kan. Okay, contoh. Let's say anda tak buat apa yang dipanggil sebagai transparent tadi. Okay, kita lihat apa yang terjadi. Contoh, apa yang kawan ataupun anda semua mungkin hadapi. Dia akan jadi macam ni. Betul tak? Gelap semua. Because of you do not apply those transparent lah. So that is the trick lah. Sometimes people do not sure how to do that. So actually it's just using a transparent over there. And you are going to get much more cleaner. Okay, kalau you all pakai, cuba klik kat sini. Sekejap. Kat sini, cuba klik. Okay, sekejap. What is actually at the back of the area kan? Sama ada kawasan ni adalah kawasan highly populated area or not. You can layer it after this with the polygon and so on. Ini contoh data secara helicopter view lah yang lebih besar. Ini bukan helicopter view pula, ini satellite view. Sebab helikopter tak boleh terbang tinggi macam ni. Confirm jatuh macam ni. Ini rocket view ke boleh lah. Alright, so now apabila tuan-tuan dan puan dah nampak idea ni, saya akan cadangkan juga, you can also change the radius. Let's say you want to see the hypothetical radius of 5 mm. So they are going to be much more precise lah. Okay, so you can also change based on the points, based on the pixel, map unit, inches, you can play it around according to your according to your needs ataupun preference. So saya ambil yang asal lah, milimeter ni. Kalau tak dia jadi pelik ni. Ini adalah contoh yang basic. Okay, dah siap yang ni nak buat macam mana? You akan pergi print screen kan. Print screen tu kelakar lah. Actually you can just go to the project over here and then you can go to the new print layout. And then you can call upon the print layout lah. Example map. Okay. And then if you open the print layout, it's going to be open something like this. And you can insert your map tadi dekat sini kita ada layer. You can insert the layer of your map. I'm not so sure where is it, but dia bagi ni add map, add 3D map, add map I think. Okay, let me just do it. Rendering the map. Okay, rendering the map. Okay, that is the example lah. How to do that? First of all, let me just close it. First of all, go to project, new print layout. New print layout. Okay, after you click new print layout, please give name, descriptive name. I'm going to use the map 1 lah. Sebab saya dah namakan tadi sebagai map. I'm going to click OK and then a new map 1 menu are going to be appear like this. And then you have numbers of sub menu. In this case, we are usually insert this one lah. Add map yang atas ni. Add map. You can draw a little bit here. And then you can do a lot of things lah on the cartograph. Yang nak letak border lah, you nak zoom in, zoom out, whatsoever yang you like, you can do that. Anda boleh letak. Contohnya, anda nak letakkan gambar arah ni, arah kiblat pula, apa nama ni? Arah utara, nak letakkan skala. So automatically everything are going to be adjusted based on your menu here. Macam ni kan? Kenapa dia jadi macam mana? Dia jadi pelik. Okay, saya ulang balik semula. Okay, saya select semua. Saya ulang balik. Okay, saya delete. Okay, dia dekat atas ni, mula-mula as default is this one, right? Kalau ada apa-apa masalah, anda biasakan diri menekan butang tangan ni, panning. Whatever it is, if you got some difficulty, use the panning. And after that, if you want to put the map, is actually here. Add map. Okay, and then you reposition lah your map accordingly. And then you can change the layout based on your needs. Let's say you want to use the pixel tolerant, export resolution, you nak lagi zoom in ke zoom out ke whatsoever lah, semua boleh dibuat di sini. Saya nak cerita kartograf ni nanti mungkin ambil masa, tapi saya leave it to you to play it around. Nanti saya akan bagi kamu task lah kejap lagi, masa saya bagi break sekejap 5-10 minit, you try buat boleh Okay, ini contoh. Biasanya kalau tanya saya what is the applications to this one, it's very important for you to write a report or produce a map like this, especially with regard to the comparison of the surveillance data. You ada data surveillance banyak kan, bertahun-tahun kan. Kemudian kamu nak buat perbandingan antara tahun ini dengan tahun lepas. Is the case is resolved or not? Tekan butang pause lah basically. Nanti kita bincang kemudian. At least you know, if you got something you want to produce, no need to print screen. No need to print screen. You buat print screen macam ini jangan. Nanti dia akan menyusahkan tuan-tuan dan puan. Sebaliknya, you can just go to the project, new print layout, and then you can produce your own layout. In fact, you can also have the layout that are ready to be as your fixed layout, tapi you akan intentionally use it for your purpose lah, untuk minggu ni, minggu depan. Jadi, you punya reporting mechanism tu lebih style, lebih style, lebih bagus. Yes. Anda boleh save the project. So, nanti bila tuan-tuan ada data, tuan-tuan boleh update je. Okay, tapi sebelum tu, the most important interesting part that I want to share now is actually go here, which is we call it as a filter legend. This one is quite very useful. Filter legend. At your layer, you have the remove layer whatsoever ni kan. You ada lagi satu yang dipanggil sebagai filter legend. Correct? Okay, you can go to the filter legend over there. And then you can go to the filter legend by map content. Contoh lah. You can click this one. Filter, sorry. Saya akan ambil menu lah senang. Yang tadi tu agak summary sangat. Ambil yang quite explanatory. You go to the case, right click, go to the filter. Yang ni. Bawah toggle editing tu. Bawah toggle editing. Okay. So this filter is actually very good for you to create a query. Ni yang saya kata tadi. Kita tak gunakan regular expression. But we go a simple logic to filter the data. However, this one is quite tedious lah, kena buat satu-satu. Faham tak? Tapi you don't worry because we can save the expression. Maknanya setiap kali anda nak pakai, anda ada data kan by bulan ke, by tahun ke, by mukim ke kan? Anda akan duduk ke JKN kan? Jadi by daerah ke apa, anda akan filter it through this. So how to do that? Contoh, saya ambil contoh lah. Saya nak tengok based on tarikh onset. Okay, usually people will do like this. Okay, you go into the tarikh onset. Tarikh onset like this. Contoh, I going to click the all button. So, the all are going to be identified as follows. Nampak tak? Semua tarikh-tarikh yang ada are going to be identified like this. So, if I want to create a value, I can choose it accordingly. Example, I can make an algorithm like this. Okay, tarikh onset is equal to 1, 1. Maksudnya apa? Tarikh onset sama dengan 1/1/2019. And then I can click what is called as the OK button. So, when I click the OK button, so I know this is the case for 1/1/2019. Faham tak? Okay, I make a repetition. First of all, tak keluar tak keluar. Dia keluar apa? Null kalau tak keluar, saya tunjuk lagi sekali. Okay, I insert the case. And then after that, right click, go to the filter. Okay, on the tarikh onset here, okay, you click the all first. Click the all. It will list everything. Dia tulis null because your tarikh onset is already changed into date. Remember that? So, when you change into date, that means it cannot read. Therefore, you can redo it again lah. I give you time now, you redo it again. Sebab saya dah dapat dah null tadi siap-siap. Sebab tu saya tukar siap-siap. Dia punya trick kat situ. All go to the case layer, right click, go to the filter. In this filter, we are going to use the simple filter named as tarikh onset. So you can just click the tarikh onset, one click, followed by the values, which is you can click the all. All are going to be shown where whatever the data that are represented here are going to be shown lah. Contoh macam sekarang ni. And then you are going to create a logic. Logic ni macam algorithm jugalah. So I'm going to double click this variable, double click. It's going to be appear on the specific filter expression, followed by the operators, which is tarikh onset is equal to this one, which is 1, 1. Itu tarikh 1 bulan Januari tahun 2019. I'm just going to double click it also, and then it's going to be appear like this. And then followed by the OK button, and the data and cases are going to be filtered lah according to your needs. So kalau tuan-tuan puan nakkan gambar seperti heat map tadi, you can go to the properties, okay, followed by the single symbology, change into the heat map, and then change the heat map color ramp into the first of all, choose your color ramp that you like. In this case, I'm going to choose the turbo, followed by the edit color ramp over here. Color 1 are going to be changed as transparent, and then followed by the opacity are going to be changed a little bit here and there, and then I'm going to click apply. So I got this kind of thing lah, and then I'm going to minimize it into 5 millimeters only, so I can get a clear picture of the populated high risk area. So if you notice, this is only 1 hari bulan 1, not 1 hari bulan 1. 1 January, 1st January also we can see this kind of data. So what is actually we need to do is to visualize what is happened on the next day, what is happened on the 3rd day. Is the cases is spreaded or not spreaded? So that is the another story lah, which is we are going to discuss it later on lah, yang lebih advance lagi lah. Dan tuan-tuan puan ingat tak yang saya tunjuk Geoda yang boleh buat animation tu? So you can actually filter one by one cases, and then you can name it according to the situation lah. That's why kalau cerita situational analysis ke epidemiologic surveillance ke, for me lah, geospatial element are quite underutilized. Macam ni lah, ni contoh paling senang. 1 hari bulan 1 ada satu intensify area at this and this area. Okay, you can see on the physical perspective. Okay, let us go into the another one. Just change the date over here into the another date name as 2 hari bulan. Cuba you pergi pula pada 2 hari bulan. 2 hari bulan 1. Just change the 01 to become 02, and then followed by the OK button, and then you can see suddenly, apa dah? Suddenly, it's become another hotspot here and there. Nampak tak? What I'm trying to say here is you will see whether the data is granular enough, correctly identify, or something like that lah. You can think about that lah. Apa yang saya komen. Kita pergi pula pada 3 bulan 3, and then you can go for the OK. Suddenly, it's going to be jumbling around here and there. Nampak? So, kalau you tanya dengan saya, ini penyakit apa ni? Dia macam bukan penyakit bawaan manusia lah. Dia adalah penyakit bawaan syaitan, macam kata. Dia boleh terbang berkilometer-kilometer ni. Tak adalah nak cerita dengan tuan-tuan dan puan. That is how the data is very important to collect at the granular level. Maksudnya, granular di sini bermaksud asal. Okay, you kena faham setiap orang yang ada kes ni, mungkin dia adalah orang yang sama pada rumah yang sama, tempat yang sama, tapi didaftarkan lewat. Faham? Disahkan lewat. So all these things are quite useful for us to identify and audit, and also make and monitoring and evaluation whether the disease spread ni adalah make sense or does not make any sense. In a nutshell, I just want to say it seems like not make any sense. Nampak tak? Daripada 1 hari bulan dekat sini, ada 2 tempat yang high intensity over here, suddenly jumble around here. We're just a few kilometers away. So, mungkin strain yang ada ini adalah different. Mungkin juga nak kata nyamuk tu terbang jauh macam ini pun mustahil. Confirm patah kepak dia. So, one of the best explanation is what? People travel. Okay, the next one is what? Is already there. The agent is already there. So, maksudnya we are maybe fail to control it very well. Betul tak? Sebab dia masih ada di situ. Okay. You can just change it into the 14 days ke whatsoever that you want to justify. You justify lah according to the visualization like this. and then you will see the things is going to be spread and also become not able to be interpreted in a much more scientific and clear explanation. Okay, nampak Ini saya tunjuk on the rocket view, bukan helicopter view pun ni. Ni apa dia? Rocket view. Satellite view lah, maksudnya lagi tinggi. Maknanya kalau tuan-tuan berada di JKN, of course you are not going to see something like this, but you can use this kind of tools to see whether the reporting mechanism in our surveillance system are quite robust and agile or not agile to cope with the reporting system. That's why reporting system ni kalau tanya saya must be performed in a robust and automated manner lah. Dia tak boleh nak harap orang buat hari-hari, oh memang kicap lah, kicap jalin Okey, setakat ni jelas tak untuk filter ni? Okey, 8, contoh 8 hari bulan. So saya boleh nampak lah the spread is not equal ataupun dia jadi macam jumbling around lah. If I try to hypothesize whether the cluster is in the similar proportionate area, I will see something like not very good lah. Okay, dalam masa yang sama, what I can do over here, I can go to the case and I can open the attributes table and only the selected variable are going to be appear. Nampak tak? Maksudnya saya tahu satu hari ada berapa case? Ada 100. Contohlah pada 8 hari bulan. Similarly, if I want to see something to do with the event lah, event contoh 1 bulan 1, cuti tahun baru 1 bulan 1 contoh so I can see lah whether the 1 bulan 1 over here, the 1st January is the much more intensify or not intensify. So lebih kurang sama je setiap bulan kan. So let's say apa lagi tarikh-tarikh penting, 25 hari bulan 12 kan, betul tak? Christmas kan contohlah, cuti kan. Christmas tak ada case Oh, ajaib. Orang balik. Mungkin tak ada data tu lah Okay, tak ada data tu. Okay. So let's say we go for the 2018. Sebab ni data pun saya tak ingat dah. Ada. Ni contoh. Case dia sebab ni 2018 and 2000. Oh sorry, ni 2019 and 2018 punya ujung. So if I go to the open attributes table, I can see that only 42 Sebab apa? Ramai IK cuti, betul? IK cuti kan, orang pun cuti. Jadi dia tangguhkan kesakitan dia. Hebat kan Malaysia? Hebat. Kita boleh tangguhkan kesakitan kita. Kita report pada hari berikutnya. Okay. So that is only make it up your mind lah. Alright, so next, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, you can just go over there and then see. So this is the data. Now I challenge you to do a filter. Please do a filter according to the week. Macam mana nak buat? Week. Oh hui, kicap ni, week. Macam mana nak buat week? So if you can see over here, you can see that we have the open attributes table. We do not have the epic week. Nampak tak? Kan? Ada tak epic week? Ada. So macam mana nak buat epic week? Based on this data. Based on the onset date. Okay. So how you want to do that? I have a few options that you can think of, but I give you a hint. You must use the SPSS. I give you a hint. You must use the SPSS or any statistical package to make it easier lah for your life to extract the date and so on. Okay, try to do that. Have this difficulty, my advice is go to the granular data and then try to use any statistical package will do lah. Even SPSS is the easiest one lah. But you can also try the other methods lah. For example, Google Sheet or the Excel lah. Excel pun sebenarnya anda boleh kira lah. Anda boleh tanya ChatGPT, dia akan minta tarikh tu dan anda boleh kira lah what is actually the date. Tapi dia panjang sikit, tak silap saya. Tapi nak make it much more easier sebenarnya, we can just use the SPSS under the transform wizard. So kalau you find out here, I just copy and paste two variable which is named as ID and tarikh. And then in fact, the way that I did it is do like this. Okay, this is the example how I did it. So saya akan remove dulu, clear everything to make it as clear as possible, and then followed by these two variable. So I'm going to select this one, and this one, followed by the shift command, arrow ke bawah ataupun shift control lah, and then copy. After I copy everything, and then I'm going to insert inside the data view over here. So just right click and then paste it accordingly. So far, in my experience, kalau 10,000 ni dalam few seconds lah. Kalau juta dalam beberapa minit lah. So bila you tekan paste tu, you kena tunggu kejap. Baru dia tampal. Alright, so after that, go to the variable and then remove the unnecessarily variable name as follows lah. Yang dua ni kita tak nak lah sebab kita nak analyze dia dekat dalam tempat lain kan. So just right click and then clear. Clear accordingly. So this is the example. I'm going to clear and I'm going to maintain numbers of variable as follows. Yang nombor 5 ni adalah ID kan. Yang bawah ni saya namakan ni sebagai apa dah? Tarikh. And then dia punya type ni adalah string kan. I'm going to change it into the date. Just clicking over there and then choose whatever date format that are suitable to our data, followed by OK, and then it's become like this. So this is also an idea how you want to correctly identify your data and then insert it back into the computer format. Faham tak maksud saya? Macam sebelum ni kan kita pernah bincang kalau data-data kita bermasalah kan, macam mana nak ubah dia. So SPSS are one of the tools that can help you doing that. Okay, after you finish doing this, you can follow it through into the transform, followed by the date and time wizard. In the date and time wizard, you can click this one. Create a date time containing this one. Click the third solution, which is create a date and time variable from the variable holding parts of the date and time, followed by continue. Oh, sorry, salah juga. Bukan itu. Calculate ke extract. Sekejap okay, sorry. Go into the option number 5, which is the extract part of date or time. Number 5. Followed by continue, and then followed by inserting your tarikh lah, which is insert your tarikh inside the date and time, and then you need to be extract is this one, weeks. Just follows it through, weeks. Press continue, followed by the another one, which is the variable name. Give lah any descriptive name, which is in this case I'm going to name it as week, followed by done. Okay, and then it's going to be appear like this. Okay, where is the wizard? Is transform date and time wizard. Transform date and time wizard. Yang ini kita boleh setkan kemudian pada hari Ahad ke hari Isnin. Tapi ni yang ini kita kena bagi nama. You must put the name. Okay, I make a repetition. Date and time wizard, followed by the one menu. You choose the number 5, followed by the continue. Insert your tarikh, and then followed by what kind of extraction that you want. Week. In this case, week lah. Followed by continue, and then give your result. In this case, I'm going to name it as week. So you can create variable now ataupun paste the syntax, whatever it is lah that you like. Dah bagi nama belum? Not using any apa nama ni, empirical and so on. Apa nama ni, logical expression and so on. Just copy and paste the previous calculated data from the SPSS into your Excel ataupun into your CSV. So dalam this case saya akan buat demikian. Lepas tu apa nak buat? Saya akan buang saya punya case.shp ni, and then I'm going to create a new one. So this one same lah. Yang ini sepatutnya tuan-tuan puan boleh buat dalam masa a few seconds lah. Selesai. Okay. So just navigate back our file. Follow it through like this, and then macam biasa. Yang ini jangan lupa letak longitude, and then another one is latitude, and then followed by the adjustment of all this. String, pastikan dia string. Rumah kedai integer, umur integer, and then another one also are going to be integer, which is the week. The week also need to be integer, and then one more, if I can add, here is the ID. ID also you make it as integer. Okay, after that you click add, and then everything is there, and then same also goes to the what I explained before, which is we are going to export it, and export it as what? As case lah. Okay, kita akan bagi nama dia sebagai case. Make sure you save it inside your folder, followed by save button over there, and okay. After that, the data are going to be populated according to the following details. So now kita ada satu variable baru. Ini yang saya tunjuk ni yang paling senang tau. Yang paling senang. Maksud paling senang, tak payah pening-pening, buat balik je lah. Sebab kita masih dalam peringkat awalan. Okay, so kita akan ada week kat sebelah kanan atas tu. Nampak kan? Kita ada week dan juga kita ada all this data. Okay, boleh?